so today we're talking weight reduction. And no, I don't mean Ozempic, I don't mean going to the gym, and I don't really mean cutting a car up more. I'm talking about removing components, making it lighter with other stuff. So, you guys are very familiar with this car now. This is La Fea, my 97 Acura Integra. I've been racing it for a couple years. And in the past, I have done some weight reduction stuff, so like cutting out the rear quarter panel intersections. Since then, I've actually gone ahead and put the plastics back in, so you can't really see all that area where I cut it out. Stuff like weight reduction in the seats. These are two Kirky seats, so they're a little bit lighter than stock. With the brackets and all, it still has some weight to it, but it's not the craziest light seat that some people have, like aluminum or titanium mounts with carbon or other sheet metal style seats. And then this is like a big piece right here. Cut out doors. Both sides are cut out. This is my original cutout door right there. I actually made a video on this years ago. And then this one we just recut a brand new set of doors very recently and left some of the material right there. So it does have some rigidity versus the old one. That one I have to replace. I have the new version of it as well. That one's still super flimsy. This one is a lot stronger on that end. Considering you can only have one driver at a time, this seat is gonna stay, and for this next event coming up, sorry, but this seat is coming out. That means that the brackets, the seat cover, the seat belts, the harnesses, everything is getting removed, at least to see how much it weighs. We have a target goal that's a couple hundred pounds lighter than what it's currently at. We weighed it last time at FL2K and it weighed just under 2,400 pounds. For the class that we'll be racing in this next coming year, we can weigh down to 2,200 pounds with driver. So we have some room to start removing some weight. 34 pounds. 34 pounds on a Kirky seat. Now, you normally think of Kirkys and you think, wow, that seat's light. But 34 pounds? It's not heavy, but 34 pounds is pretty substantial. Some seat belts. What do you think, Wesley? 34 pounds? Is it worth the passenger seat? I don't think it's worth it. To the dumpster. I'm kidding, I'm not throwing it out. Alright, so obviously weight reduction is weight reduction, but the big ticket is right here. And if you guys are familiar with this nice little logo, you already know what we're talking about. So a couple weeks ago, I was setting up the car. Now, as you guys know, with the 6466, getting it ready for this class, Nitro versus the World. That class, like I mentioned earlier, allows you to run 200-ish pounds lighter than where the car already was. And for that, there were some changes that I wanted to do. The seat, obviously, all 34 pounds of it is gonna be a nice savings, but it's not gonna be everything that we need to be able to cut weight. So, talk to my friends over at Speed Factory. They have the very, very popular front-wheel drive trailing arm kit. So this is a tubular version versus the OEM stamped steel version. And actually I have one that's, I believe, a little bit heavier than the OEM one on the car right now, which is the S1 Built all-wheel drive trailing arms. It's the shortened one, so they're very, very rigid, very, very strong. It's for those who are wanting to do super, super high horsepower all-wheel drive stuff, and it's worked really well. The car has had no issues on the rear end, but it's something that we don't currently need. So, front-wheel drive components versus the all-wheel drive components. I think there was a time where I kind of dreamed of going all-wheel drive in this car, but for the time being, it's gonna be fine, just front-wheel drive, so we should be good with that. And I'll be honest with you guys, I did kind of cheat on this unboxing. I already did pre-unbox this a couple days ago. I was super excited to actually get these parts and start putting hands on them, so got a little familiar with everything already, so some of the boxes are already empty. Let me put those off to the side. And a lot of it comes pretty much ready to go. There's no welding required, there's nothing fabrication required, it's literally bolt on. Let's check this out. This is driver's side trailing arm, fully powder coated, super nice design. Serviceable bearings, the hubs come right off, that way you can service that with time. This is that hub right there, and it does have an OEM style tone ring, as you guys can see right there. So we use a trigger kit that reads the ABS tooth position currently on the car, so converting to this is gonna be super simple. Uses that same style tone ring. That'll just go in the same sensor, and I believe the tooth count should be the same, so everything should be ready to go. If not, we can just adjust that in the fuel tech. Braided lines right here for the brakes. Here's our other trailing arm. This right here is where a lot of the weight comes from. And if you guys have the OEM trailing arms and you're not ready to go tubular yet, but you wanna just convert to these lightweight rotors, you can definitely do that. They sell a kit, I'll put a picture of it on the screen. If you don't wanna do the full investment, as you would with the trailing arm kit like that, It's a nice little option for you to have a nice retention of OEM components plus aftermarket stuff. These little baby brake calipers, they're so cute. Look at this. So cute. And number 2, this stuff is just super nice. Very nice crisp packaging. We have the adjusters for the front of the trailing arms. That's all Heim jointed and all ready to go. It has the locking nut and all. Make sure to install this stuff with like a little bit of Loctite, especially on things that are Heim. So there's not a lot of movement on Heim. Obviously, you adjust it and then it's really solid. But that means that there's not as much dampening for the vibration like an OEM rubber mount or bushing would. So this stuff you really want to have Loctite on and make sure that everything's nice and good. These are the upper control arms or the camber kits, depending on how you look at it. And then along with that are the brackets for it. And these are right there. Obviously, like I mentioned, hardware for everything. Then we have our calipers. I think these are like as small as motorcycle calipers or something. Comes with your brake pads already installed. These are like 0 friction, so there's no drag on it. And you only use them for staging. Same with this rotor. It's a super light rotor. You don't use this for regular braking. On cars like this, typically they're isolated anyway. The front pedal, or the pedal normally just does the front brakes, and then the staging brake, which is that handle right there. But that's what engages the rear brakes on a car like this. We don't use it for regular stopping when we're driving around the pits or anything, and they don't recommend this type of setup for street driving because of how rigid everything is, and those calipers and rotors aren't meant for that kind of setup. And obviously we're definitely not going to drive it on the street. We wouldn't do that, ever. Especially now that I don't have a passenger seat in this thing. I used to take my wife out on dates and she'd get all harnessed up in here. And we'd go out on little drives and whatnot. When we had Dreams of Sick Week, I still had a stock seat in the passenger side, but then I switched over to the Kirky trying to save weight. Which actually I'm gonna look up to see how much a stock seat with stock brackets weighs, because I feel like this being at 34 pounds is as heavy, if not, well, probably just as heavy as a stock seat. So I don't know. Kirky, you're light, the seat itself is good, but all the bracketry on the bottom, the aftermarket stuff, definitely added some weight. So we got her all strapped on, not actually strapped on, but onto the alignment rack right now. We're gonna be doing some alignment changes once the trailing arms are on, obviously. So it makes sense to do all this stuff here. That way, as soon as it's done, we can just get it all dialed in on that machine right there. Sean, staying out the way. What's up, dog?
What up?
Hey. And he's gonna be helping me out. He's gonna be giving me moral support, right, Sean?
Yes, morally.
That's it. So, got the nice little tripod right here. I'm gonna give you guys a little behind the scenes look. Things are all laid out right here, kind of spread out. I'm gonna do a nice little assembly on this clean part for you. Already and beautifully aesthetically pleasing. But we're gonna get it all bolted up, that way he can stop saying that I'm a weirdo.
I don't say that.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Let's go ahead and get started on that. Here are the previous trailing arms. Let's see, we are at 35 USA pounds. Not them kilos, not them Colombian things.
Camel pounds.
Camel pounds. And that is per side, gentlemen and ladies watching. Maybe the 0.01% YouTube tells me are on here. And Speed Factory, 18 pounds. It's a pretty nice weight savings. What did you say, Peter?
You got a brake line on that one too.
Well, let's be fair. There's a brake line on the other one as well. It's just tucked up under the rotor.
Okay.
Just being honest.
Okay.
Just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
That'll help.
Yeah. There's all 38 pounds. Yeah, buddy.
One I think is like 1 plus, if I remember right. And then
Man, look at that thing spin. It keeps on going.
and there you go.
Made it. After the last pass, I felt, which was yesterday, end of Q2, I felt something going ba 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 under the car. I thought it was weird. And right now, when we tried pulling it off of the trailer, something got stuck right there. And this is what we found. These traction arms completely broke on both sides in the same spot. So I literally put these on. I put these on like 2 days ago. New arms to have good adjustment, and they completely snapped right there. We don't have a crazy amount of tension, but just a little bit of wheel hop and stuff will do that. So it's about 11 o'clock. Q3 is at 1. We gotta run up to the shop and get the old ones at least, or find a solution here. But that is a crazy thing. Makes sense why I heard the cluck, 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 cluck at the end of the last pass. Replacement traction bars.
Hello, hello, hello.
And some wastegate springs for Carlos. I don't know what car for, but he was asking if we had some. So while we were at the shop, we got some. Woo! Women.
What's up, girl? Long time no see.
Estamos activos, 583, 109.
listen, I said last night that 990 was gonna be a very, very high 9-second pass or a very, very low 10-second pass. 10:06, proof is in the pudding. I'm just kidding, I'm not that cocky. We have work to do, but we're in a good spot, we're happy. Oh yeah, it's Torquey.
Torquey's on 3. Get rolling and put your feet on
I
it.
can't bend with the pin.
You can.
That's crazy. Woo! That's wicked.